Religion, beliefs, and society. Faith in the colonies. For the colonists of the 1600s, religion wasn't just a private belief, it was the backbone of society. In Puritan New England, church attendance was mandatory. The minister's word shaped laws, morals, and even punishments. Life revolved around the Sabbath, and any sign of sin or disobedience could bring public shame or worse. Faith brought comfort, but it also brought fear. Witch trials, superstition, and harsh sermons reminded colonists daily of God's wrath. To be seen as ungodly was to risk exile, imprisonment, or death. Religion was both a refuge and a chain, binding communities together while keeping individuals under constant watch. Society built on belief. The colonies were not uniform. While New England was rigidly Puritan, places like Pennsylvania welcomed Quakers, and Maryland tolerated Catholics. Each colony reflected a different vision of faith and governance, but everywhere religion deeply influenced law and order. Blasphemy, drunkenness, and working on Sundays could earn a colonist heavy fines or public humiliation. Even daily decisions, what to wear, how to speak, when to work, were tied to religious values. For the colonists, belief was not a choice, it was survival within their community. To doubt or dissent was to risk isolation. Religion and society in modern America. Today, America is a land of religious diversity and freedom. The Constitution guarantees that no church rules the state. In a single city, one can find churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, and meditation centers side by side. Faith is still important to millions, but it no longer dictates every law or daily ritual. Some Americans find strength in religion, others in science, philosophy, or secular values. Belief has become personal, chosen rather than imposed. Modern society is also shaped by ideas beyond religion: human rights, democracy, equality, and freedom of expression. People define morality not only by scripture, but also by culture, education, and individual conscience. In the 1600s, religion was the compass of life, pointing every man, woman, and child in the same direction, whether they agreed or not. In modern America, the compass has split into many directions, giving people freedom to choose their own path. The colonists sat in a wooden pew, trembling before fiery sermons of eternal damnation. The modern American might scroll through a podcast about mindfulness or attend a vibrant multi-faith festival in the city. Yet, both worlds reveal the same truth. Humans seek meaning, order, and hope. The difference lies in how freely we are allowed to search for it. Leisure and Entertainment 1. Leisure in the colonies. For colonists in the 1600s, leisure was rare and simple. Life demanded endless labor: fields to plow, wood to chop, food to prepare. Yet even in hardship, people found moments to rest and celebrate. Families gathered by firelight, telling stories, singing hymns, or playing simple instruments like fiddles and flutes. Children carved toys from wood or played games like tag and marbles. Community gatherings were often tied to the church: harvest festivals, barn raisings, or small fairs where neighbors shared food and laughter. Entertainment was not about distraction. It was about connection. It bound families and communities together in a world where survival depended on unity, restrictions, and beliefs. But not all fun was welcomed. In Puritan New England, many forms of amusement were viewed with suspicion. Dancing, gambling, and excessive drinking were frowned upon or even outlawed. Leisure was expected to be wholesome, modest, and godly. This meant that even in their moments of rest, colonists were never far from the watchful eye of religion and society. Entertainment in modern America. Now compare that to today. Modern Americans live in a world overflowing with entertainment, so much that leisure has become a defining feature of life. Movies, music, sports, video games, concerts, festivals, social media. The choices are endless. A teenager can spend hours exploring virtual worlds online, while millions gather to watch a single Super Bowl game. Entertainment has become global, instant, and deeply commercialized. Unlike the colonists, whose play was local and communal, modern entertainment often takes place in private. Headphones on, screens glowing, each person lost in their own world. The colonists' leisure was humble, fragile, and shaped by necessity. A fiddle tune by the fire, a shared story at a barn raising, a day of Thanksgiving after harvest. The modern American enjoys leisure as luxury, streaming movies at will, cheering for athletes in billion-dollar stadiums, or scrolling endlessly through social media feeds. And yet, both reveal the same truth. Human beings have always needed moments of joy, laughter, and escape. For the colonists, leisure kept hope alive in a hard world. For modern Americans, leisure fills the spaces left by convenience and abundance. One world carved joy out of struggle. The other chases joy amid plenty. Law, government, and freedom won. Law in the colonies. In the 1600s, colonial law was a strange blend of English tradition, religious rules, and the harsh reality of frontier life. There were no vast legal codes, no towering courthouses. Justice often unfolded in small wooden meeting houses or even in open fields. The Puritans, especially, saw law as an extension of God's will. Crimes like theft, drunkenness, or even skipping church were punished with stocks, whippings, or fines. Public punishment was meant not just to correct the guilty, but to warn the community. Freedom was narrow. Colonists obeyed their leaders, their ministers, and the crown. To question authority was to risk being branded a traitor, or worse, a heretic. Government in the colonies. Despite the strictness, the colonies planted seeds of self-rule. Town meetings in New England allowed citizens to vote on local matters. Virginia's House of Burgesses, formed in 1619, became the first representative assembly in the New World. These early experiments were small and fragile, but they carried a radical idea: that ordinary settlers could have a voice in shaping their communities. Even under the shadow of English kings and governors, the spirit of independence flickered. Law and freedom. In modern America, today, America is defined by its laws and freedoms. The Constitution stands as the supreme guide, guaranteeing rights the colonists could scarcely imagine: freedom of speech, religion, press, and the right to vote. Modern government is vast, layered from local councils to the federal system in Washington, D.C. Citizens elect leaders at every level, shaping laws through ballots and debate. Courts are professional, laws are detailed, and punishments are bound by strict legal codes. Freedom is seen as the heart of American identity. The right to protest, to challenge leaders, to live and believe as one chooses. In the 1600s, the colonists stood trembling in the stocks, punished for breaking a law that mixed faith and authority. In modern America, the citizen can take the government itself to court and win. The colonist bowed to the king's decrees. The modern American demands accountability from elected leaders. Yet both worlds reveal the same truth: society cannot exist without rules. The difference lies in who makes those rules and whether they are imposed by fear or shaped by freedom. From colonial meeting houses to the halls of Congress, the journey of law and liberty is the story of America's evolution. From obedience to independence, from survival to self-determination. Relationships and family life. Family in the colonies. In the 1600s, family was the very center of colonial life. Survival depended on it. A household wasn't just a home, it was a team where every member had a role. Fathers were seen as heads of the household, working the land and making decisions. Mothers labored endlessly, cooking, sewing, raising children, tending gardens, and often helping in the fields. Children were not sheltered. From the moment they could walk, they worked, fetching water, gathering firewood, caring for animals. A colonial childhood was short, shaped more by responsibility than play. Marriage was practical, often arranged for survival and stability. Families were large, partly because many children did not live to adulthood. Every birth, every bond, was shadowed by the fragility of life. Social bonds in the colonies. Beyond the family, relationships extended into the community. Neighbors relied on one another for survival, helping build houses, share food, or defend against danger. Friendship was woven into necessity. Even disputes were public, as the entire town often knew of quarrels or court cases. Privacy was rare, and reputation meant everything. Yet relationships were also controlled by strict rules. Love, marriage, and family life were bound tightly by religion and social expectations. A step outside tradition risked shame or punishment. Family life in modern America. Fast forward to today, and family has transformed. In modern America, families take many forms: nuclear families, single parents, blended families, chosen families. Marriage is often based on love and personal choice rather than survival. Children now spend their days in schools, surrounded by technology and opportunities. Childhood is seen as a time for growth, learning, and discovery, not just labor. Modern relationships are shaped by freedom. People marry across cultures, religions, and backgrounds. Many choose not to marry at all. The idea of family is no longer one rigid mold, but a spectrum of possibilities. The colonists' family was a fortress against hunger, danger, and isolation. Roles were strict, and survival bound everyone tightly together. The modern American family is a network of choice, shaped by love, individuality, and freedom. In the colonies, a child carried firewood to keep the family warm. In modern America, a child carries a backpack to school, preparing for a future of independence. Both worlds show us the same truth. Family is where humans first learn to belong. For the colonists, it was survival. For modern Americans, it is identity. Conclusion: the journey across time. From the rough-hewn cabins of the 1600s to the skyscrapers of today, America's story is one of staggering transformation. The colonists lived in a world ruled by survival, faith, and community. Modern Americans live in a world ruled by technology, freedom, and choice. And yet, across 4 centuries, the heartbeat is the same: a search for belonging, meaning, and a better tomorrow. The core contrasts. The colonists' table held cornmeal and venison. The modern American's table overflows with global cuisine. The colonists' home was a drafty log cabin. The modern American lives in climate-controlled houses, apartments, or sprawling suburbs. The colonist bowed to the authority of kings and ministers. The modern American votes, protests, and speaks freely. The colonist's leisure was a fiddle tune by firelight. The modern American streams movies, plays video games, or cheers in massive stadiums. Each comparison is a mirror, showing not just change, but progress, the spirit that endures. But beyond the contrasts, there is a thread that ties the centuries together: resilience. The colonists endured harsh winters, scarcity, and uncertainty, yet they carved out new lives in an untamed land. Modern Americans, in their own way, face challenges of technology, identity, and division. Yet they too push forward. Human ambition, human faith, and human love remain constant, no matter the century. Closing reflection. The story of America is not just about then versus now. It is about how the past lives within the present. The colonists of the 1600s could never imagine the world of today. But without their struggles, today's world would not exist. From survival to abundance, from obedience to freedom, the journey tells us one thing: history is not just something we study. It is something we live.